Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Lemons, and I just wanted to do another lesson on geometry for some of the other pages in your work packet, and also just to review a little bit. The last time I did a lesson, we were talking about 2D and 3D shapes. Just as a review, 2D shapes are flat shapes. They're the plane shapes, the ones that you've been learning about since you were little. And the 3D shapes, they are the solid figures where you can see all around them. So for example, we have this one. Remember what this one is called. This is a cylinder. And the plane shapes that are on them, the flat shapes, these are the faces, and this has two. It has a circle here and it has a circle here as well. This, remember what this is? This is a cone. Its face is also a circle. Now, it also has something called a vertex. It only has one of them. If we look at the cube has more than one vertex. We call those vertices. It's where the faces meet here. So you've got a vertex here. Count them with me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the cube has 8 vertices. Now, what are they all made up of? The plane shapes, the flat sides, the faces. On a cube, they're all made up of squares because everything's equal. If you take a look at this is probably one of the trickier ones. This is a rectangular prism. Its faces here are rectangles. Along the side, this one happens to have squares. They're kind of little, but they all are all the same size, so those are squares. Then if we count the vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just so you know the difference between 2D and 3D shapes, and I'd like you to know some of the solid figures as well. So if we take a look at 12.2 in your packet of work, remember we can always skip the first pages, and you go to the inside. It's kind of reviewing some of the plane shapes and the solid figures. It also mentions the word polygon. It says plane shapes with 3 or more sides are called polygons. Again, those are the 2D shapes. So if you take a look at this lesson, it first starts off and it shows you solid figures. And it says what plane shapes would the solid figures make. So for example, this first one here, it has a cone. If I traced this plane shape, what would it be? And I think we talked about it earlier, and you can see that it would make a circle. Now, on the other side is kind of the opposite. They start with the plane shape, and you have to figure out what solid figures would make those plane shapes. And there may be more than one as well, okay? Because again, for example, if we had the rectangular prism, this plane shape would be a rectangle that it makes, but this side would be a square. All right, next I want to show to you when we look at 12.3, again, skipping the first page. The lessons are always in the inside. This has some really valuable information where it talks about the different polygons here. It's got triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons. That's a lot of vocabulary. Some of those you may have heard before, some of you haven't. Definitely refer to this page. And I also want to show you on my little whiteboard that I made that it's very helpful if you learn what these prefixes mean. If you learn what they mean, they can help you see how many sides and angles they have. And when I talk about angles, angles are the inside of where, when the sides meet, it makes an angle. So if you see the prefix tri means 3. If I look at the triangle, it has 1, 2, 3 sides, and inside it would have 3 angles as well. If you've ever had a tricycle or seen one, how many wheels does a tricycle have? 3. Quad, that stands for 4, a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the inside has 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. Pent, pent means 5. Count the sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks kind of like a little house, and the inside would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles. In Washington, D.C., there's an important building called the Pentagon, and guess how many sides that building has? It has 5 sides because it's called the Pentagon. And then hex means 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides and 6 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's helpful if you learn these prefixes, you'll know how many sides and angles that a polygon has. Tri you probably already know. Quad you maybe have heard of. Sometimes pent and hex, students get a little confused. You might just have to kind of learn those. So knowing that will help you do this page here. And again, you can definitely reference the top of it to see the sides too as well. And then we also have this paper in your packet. It says O Geometry, O Geometry, and it has the different plane shapes. Oval, we haven't talked about that a lot, but you probably might already know what an oval is. Rectangle, triangle, square, circle, octagon, hexagon, pentagon. Now that word octagon, I don't really want to give you the answer, but think of an octopus. How many legs does an octopus have? And if you know what oct means, you can count how many sides it has as well. So those are the plane shapes. The other side are the solid figures. You've got cube, cone, rectangular prism, pyramid, cylinder, and sphere. So again, just do the best you can to learn those and to know things about them. There will also be a link on Google Classroom about quadrilaterals too. Take care.